What's up, old school metal vinyl fanboys? Welcome back to the channel for yet another masterpiece in the history of metal vinyl. Talking about metal here because for now, like these definitions like black metal, subgenres like that are kind of redundant. I would say this is just a metal masterpiece. In the Nightside Eclipse, of course, the band is Emperor. Year of release 1994, the very first press on Candlelight Productions. Another record which I sold for the price of gold, €500. What to say? It's an album that totally stands the test of time. It sounds as fresh today as it did 30 years ago. I still remember the day when I bought it upon release. That was in a small store in a town called Trieste Merda. I was very, waiting for this record. I was familiar with Emperor due to the mini LP and the demo tape, and the instant it came out, it just had to be mine. I spent the whole afternoon spinning it. And my goodness, what a masterpiece of an album. 11 out of 10, totally flawless. There isn't a single part of this album which is not sheer perfection. Every single song in here is just flawless. Every riff in here is a masterpiece. Also, the wall of sound that these guys were able to create is impressive to say the least. The cover artwork, courtesy of Necrolord, is stunning too. There isn't, again, a single thing in this album that just isn't brilliant. What else to be said concerning this release? Not much, considering it's one of the ultimate masterpieces of the genre. The band sadly wasn't able to match it in the years that followed. Neither Anthems to the Welkin at Dust, nor Nonus Equilibrium, nor Prometheus managed to come even close to the quality and brilliance of this record, but you need to give these guys a break because it's incredibly tough to top an album the quality of In the Nightside Eclipse. This copy, as I said, it's the original first edition. I have no way to compare it to the reissues which followed in the years. I think it was re-released, 100 times after that, but this one version is the one that in my opinion sounds the best, because it clocks around 53-54 minutes, and even like that, even if it's a single LP, the pressing quality is so good that it doesn't sound bad at all. It sounds massive as hell. So try to locate a copy of the original, because it's totally worth the money it costs these days. Incidentally, this is my second to last LP left in the collection. I still have, it's not really a record that I want to sell, but in case I will consider offers. I still have the Wrath of the Tyrant LP, which had Not Found Records released in 1995 in its very first pressing of 666 copies, hand-numbered. It was actually limited to 1,000, but the first 666 came with a huge poster. Let me see if it's still in good conditions. It is, apparently. Very cool poster. Vinyl itself, it's pretty cool too. Shows Nosferatu on the central label, talking about Herzog's Nosferatu, not that abomination of a movie which was released last year. The conditions are not exactly flawless in this case. We'll just leave the LP outside, not to damage the sleeve. Yeah, the sleeve is not exactly in perfect conditions, as you can tell. It's slightly rough. It's also signed by that guy that goes by the name of Mortiis, and in hindsight, not the best decision of my life, because I was not unaware of the guy's views, but more about that later. As I said, I don't really have plans to sell it, because I still like the record, and it's my very last Emperor record. I would like to still be able to spin something from this band, because of course, there is a lot to be said, and I will indeed speak about the extra musical aspects of this band, but the quality of their early 5 releases, the 3 releases, thinking about the demo tape, the mini LP, the first 7 inches EP, and the debut LP is just astonishing. So that's like 4 releases. That pretty much sums up what needs to be said, considering the musical quality of the album, which are untouchable. What about the personal aspect of the guys involved in these bands? Well, that's an entirely different subject. As usual, this is where the political rant starts. And so, if you're only into the music side of things, you can just stop here and cut off the episode. But it's one of the points of this channel. As you know, it's a political channel, so the extra musical stuff is as important as the musical stuff. So I would recommend that guy who thought he could dictate what I should or should not speak about on my channel to just mind his own business, because this is my house, these are my rules. If you don't like it, that's the door, you're allowed to leave. And just like that, let me talk about whatever I wish. So, when you discuss Emperor, of course, you can't, but you can't forget to mention the, crime committed by their former drummer, BARD EITHUN. The story is very well known, but for those of you who have been living under a rock, let me just sum it up. The guy mercilessly killed a poor homosexual dude who dared to approach him. And under that point of view, you can see some parallel with what we covered on the previous video with Jon Nordweit's case. He also killed a homosexual person. Apparently, Bard says that the sexuality of his victim didn't have any relevance, and that he just wanted to kill a human being, which in itself is kind of like completely stupid, pointless, disgraceful. Words escape me literally to define what he did. He served some time, I believe it was like 11 years or something, which is an incredibly fair sentence. Trust me, there are some I have a degree in law, I know how these things work. In some countries, you might be sentenced to life in jail for such a thing. But I guess the Norwegian laws are different. I was drawing a parallel between the two cases because, in my humble opinion, they're both, symptoms of the obvious homophobia problem that metal has. I was mentioning it in the previous video. Consider this episode as a follow-up to that one video. And the fact that, the actions of Bard, whether they were, motivated by, the sexuality of his victim or not, really doesn't concern. But the fact that his actions commanded and still command respect within the black metal community is kind of terrible, honestly. Now, you can call me like a politically correct, I don't know, humanitarian or whatever, but that's entirely my point of view and my, honest approach to these things. There is no possible justification for killing a perfectly harmless, a perfectly honest human being who did nothing wrong other than approaching a person. And the fact that, these kind of views are still popular inside the scene in black metal 2025 is, to say the least, disappointing. I mean, one would expect, people to evolve and to change their views over the years and to just, mature in a way, but apparently that's not the case with black metal fans. They seem to be stuck in their teen years or whatever. Most of them, I know people who were into black metal since I started in 1988, more or less. And they are like approaching their 50s just like me, and they're still thinking the same way, which means like, they didn't really mature as human beings. Like, if you if your ideas, if your points of view, if your values of reference are the same when you are 15 as opposed to when you are 50, then it means you have a problem, because it means you just didn't mature as a guy. Either you were a genius at 15 or just a plain imbecile. And I believe that's the case with most black metal fans. The homophobia thing is very, very, it's not like, I noticed this especially when checking the comments on my channel. There is a lot of, homophobic comments going on. Like, you don't see them anymore because I'm banning, and the guys responsible for such demented content, but I do get called the F word a number of times. People, just think it's, I don't know. They seem to think that homosexuality is a disease, literally, or something one should be ashamed of. It is not. I mean, if you really think that homosexuality is a disease, then by all means, first of all, you missed out on a huge number of medical publications suggesting otherwise. There is evidence of that homosexuality is just a normal sexual tendency that exists in pretty much every life species around. So, I mean, just to cut the crap. We are not in the year 1349 anymore, which is the what Satyricon used to sing about. We are in the year of the Lord 2025, and if you still think homosexuality is a disease, then go get yourself a good psychologist. I said it in the previous video. You are the ill one. You are the one who needs some serious help. It's literally like, I made this comparison. It's literally like, would you like have a problem with someone who is left-handed? Would you think less of him because if he's left-handed? I guess not. So why would you think so if he's an homosexual person? It's perfectly normal. Like, imagine one day you will probably get a job. I'm referring to the young guys in here listening to this and probably sharing their the views of these black metal lunatics. One day you might get a job and be surrounded by homosexual people, because 5% of the human population is homosexual. What will you do? I mean, will you just, I don't know, not talk to the guys, not talk to your colleagues? I mean, of course, there is a small chance that black metal people get employed at all, but that's a totally different and sadder chapter. Or also, like, think about if you have someone homosexual in the family. Would you like it to be, one of your friends to receive the treatment that this poor Magne Andreasen guy received from BARD EITHUN some 30 years ago? Would you like to have your best friend, or, I don't know, cousin, brother, whatever, beaten up or just mercilessly killed by someone just because he approached the guy? I mean, that's just completely dysfunctional, to say the least. And also on this homophobia thing, I noticed, like in my I read a lot of comment sections, and the word gay is still used in a derogatory way by many metalheads, which is again another symptom of the fact that metal has an obvious problem with homophobia. I noticed that, for instance, whenever there is a general consensus on a certain album being bad, the easiest way to call that album is gay. Like, Rain Chaos is gay, that one album by that band is gay. Why would you say so? Like, do you really think like the word gay is an insult? Like, like, if you think, being gay is something one should be ashamed of, that's a completely delusional view. It's, again, it's a perfectly normal connotation. It's nothing to be ashamed of. So I would really recommend, that the people who think this way, I don't know, like, either they are extremely young, and in that case, I mean, a good solution would be to consider losing your virginity, because most of the times, like, this kind of like fear of the unknown, fear of people with a different kind of sexuality is just a reflex of poor self-confidence. In that case, just lose your virginity and you will feel better. But in the case of like guys who are in their 30s, 40s, or even older, the fact that they're still sharing these completely fucked up ideas, it's honestly terrifying. In that case, I think there's no other solution than just hiring a psychiatrist or a psychologist. Said it in a previous video again, but I have to repeat it because that's literally the only way out. I don't remember if I already said this. I will probably repeat myself a couple of times in this episode. I did a fair share of research on both Young Not White case and BARD EITHUN, and I still have to see, find at least one word of regret, one word of concern, one word of apology to the families of the people they killed. I couldn't find any. I don't know, you are perhaps more like into black metal than me these days. Feel free to prove me wrong, but I still have to see one single word of apology to the families of the deceased ones, which again says how fucked up these people are. I'll take full responsibility for my own, words. I don't care if the guys serve time. There's no way you can, even if you did your own amount of time, paid for your crime, if you still think the same way these days, then something is deeply wrong with you as an individual. That's my honest opinion about this subject. So yeah, I mean, what else needs to be said? It's a problem. I think we as fans of music should deal with these kind of things, because as one of my followers on YouTube said, literally, one of the best metal personalities around, namely the singer from Judas Priest, Rob Halford, is a gay man. And how can you possibly, dislike gay people when literally the leader of your own subculture is a gay man? Like, this just doesn't make any sense, in my opinion. It's totally against the, values that metals should be about. This whole, um, half-assed attempt at sounding like alpha males that some people in the black metal community tend to use is so ridiculous. Like, you're not impressing anyone with your whole Neanderthal way of thinking. Like, there was this guy, posting a comment going like, yeah, I listen to black metal because I wanted it to be hateful, I wanted it to worship death, I don't care about your humanitarian bullshit and blah blah blah. Okay, feel free to say so. Call it humanitarian bullshit. To me, this is nothing to do with humanitarian. This is something to do. This has something to do with being proper human beings, with being respectful human beings, with believing in equality, which is what this society and civilization is based upon. Now, if you don't want civilization, then I don't know, move back to some tribe in the middle of the Amazon forest or whatever. But as long as you live within society, you're supposed to respect some common rules. I feel extremely stupid to even have to explain these things to people who are like around my age, or slightly older perhaps. It's just completely ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, I taste it on my very own skin every day, because like, if they gave me like €1 for every time I had to cancel a comment that called me the F word because of the way my nails are painted, because of the fact that they wear nail polish on my nails, speaking of which, have a look at them, how beautiful they are again, I would be pretty much a rich guy. So again, this is something that really finds no logical explanation. I would like to hear some more comments concerning this topic in the comment section. Moving on with Mortiis, at the beginning of the episode I said like, I'm not really proud to have the signature of the guy on the LP you're seeing. There is a reason for this. Back in 1994, the Singaporean band Impiety released an EP which had a really weird statement on the back. They were saying stuff like, we don't support Norwegian black metal or whatever. Remember when I bought the EP, I was wondering why in the hell did I hate Norwegian black metal, which at the time was like the main thing. And I got the answer on an interview which Impiety had with the Tales of the Macabre zine, the legendary magazine run by Kostas Stoios, the owner of Iron Pegasus Productions. And he asked them about it. And let me just read the answer that they gave to the question. I hope it's focusing. Yes, it is. So, Impiety are no big friends of Norwegian bands, if I have to believe the statement on your single release. What makes you hate them so much? Also, that statement is actually directed to one racist motherfucker and all his balls carriers, Mortiis. Let me clarify the story with you. Back in 1992, when we first received news of the release of Emperor's demo, I wrote and saying that I was interested in obtaining the demo, and Mortiis, the then in Emperor, who was a former bass player, replied me, quoting the price and also saying that we could do a trade. So I sent our promo 92 tape, and in exchange he sent me the classic route of the Tyrant demo. And also a few great comments. He said that Asians and N-word have no right playing black metal, and that the Nords stand as the kings of black metal. I lost my coolness after reading this load of crap, wrote him back, fuck these dear parents, those elite ones that BARD is Aryan mega bastard child. Okay, now this is gonna. He kind of lost it at this point of the conversation. But the point is like, yeah, this is the kind of like person that Mortiis used to be back in the day. Now, I really don't know if the guy in the meantime changed his views. We were talking about 30 years ago. Really hope so. But as I said before, chances that black metal people change their views over the years are slim to none. I mentioned how I've been knowing guys who've been into black metal since the very beginning, and they're still thinking the same way like 30 to 40 years later. So I don't know, in Morti's case, I will give him the benefit of the doubt. If you have any information concerning this topic, feel free to let me know if he ever approached this topic in following in further interviews. So guys, that does it for this episode. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this whole subject. Do you think homophobia is an actual problem in metal? Do you think it's just an obsession of mine as a bisexual person? Feel free to let me know down in the comments your honest opinion. I'm asking you to be kind and polite. Some people just don't seem to get it, and as a result I will have to ban them. But for the ones who respect the 2 or 3 basic rules I said, there will be no problem whatsoever. So feel free to share this episode. Also, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I mean, I'm fairly fine with having 2,000 followers, 2,120 as I speak, which is an incredible feedback for such a small channel. But the more we are, the more we can try to talk sense into this kind of delusional people who seem to be stuck in the medieval ages. Guys, I hope you appreciated the content, and till the next time, keep it loud and heavy as always.